good afternoon, Marcelle. How are you?
Good afternoon, Jen. I'm doing really well.
Good. Weather's getting better in
I
Canada.
know, right? I'm Canadian, so the weather is always important for us. And it's good right now here. So whoo.
Yeah, same here. It's getting nice. March. So March is Brain Health Awareness Month. Um, so let's explore. First, let's talk about what the brain does. What is the brain? I think we take it for granted a lot because we can't see it. Not that we can see other organs, but it's more visual. We talk about heart aware, heart health, and we talk about a lot of that, but we don't have a significant focus on the brain and brain health. So what does the brain do?
Well, it does so many things, Jen. It's just incredible. It's like a supercomputer. I know a lot of people compare that to that, but it's really, when you start studying it, it's just incredible. But it makes you act the way you are, it makes you move, it makes you think, it makes you take decisions, it makes you see, makes you feel, makes you being able to touch and analyze what's there. It makes you're able to analyze data because of your brain. It's really an incredible organ, so incredible. And yeah, we're not that much aware, we don't talk about, oh, you should be careful of your brain, although, like in hockey, like be careful with the concussion, right, and all that. But it's when your brain is not working well that you start to think what's going on. But many people think when their brains are not working well that they say, oh, I'm aging, and it's like, okay, it's over, or maybe not over, but it's going to be downhill. So, but it's not that at all. I mean, you can control your brain, you can help your brain, you can do many things to have a healthier brain. You just need to understand and maybe being awe of what it does for you. I mean, it's really improving your quality of living. When it's not functioning, wow, your quality of life has decreased a lot.
So when we talk about brain health, what does that really mean and what can we do? What are some of the things we can do to keep our brain healthy and sharp and functioning optimally?
So your brain is, you have lots of little cells, little neurons, and then you'll have all these extension from these cells. And like trillions and trillions of connection. And that's how you're able to think. That's how you're able to decipher. That's how you're able to learn languages and all that. Uh, so what we want is we want great connectivity. And we don't want the brain to get too inflamed, right? So what we need to do, therefore, is we need to see in our lifestyle what brings inflammation to us and how we are reacting to that. So one of the things is that is um, really in science right now is the gut and brain axis, because your gut is related to your brain quite a bit and how your brain will function and what kind of neurotransmitter and how your immune system is going to function. Um, so if you think about that, okay, then we think about we need a healthy microbiota. Well, what do we do to get a healthy microbiota? And one of the things that might be easier for you to think about is that if you put food in your mouth that is junk food, you're killing your microbiota. And if you put food that is healthy, that's been cultivated properly so that there is a great microbiota on the plants and in the tissue, that it really helps your own microbiota to be healthy. If you have a good microbiota, your immune system will be better and your brain functions will be much better. So that's a really good deal. The other thing that will also decrease the functioning of your brain is chronic stress. So stress that you have often, big trauma will also cause problem with your brain because a big trauma will increase your inflammation, and now you'll have all kinds of different hormones and being produced that will go into your brain, will pass the barrier and go into your brain and can mess up a lot of your receptors in your brain. So now the functioning of your brain is going to be as much. So you're not going to be as sharp, right? You won't be able to have this connection going very, really fast. So, or they won't be there. So the food that you put in your mouth, the drinks, oh my Lord, all these pop that people drink, that will destroy your brain, that will destroy your microbiota, that will mess up your immune system. It's the food is so important, and the decrease of the stress. So if you know you have a chronic stress, you need to, even if you can't get out of it, you need to be even more diligent with your food so that you decrease inflammation. But also you need to work with maybe reflection. I mean, we have the neuro-emotional technique that works really well with this, but you need to work on being able to see what is the chronic stress, to see if you can perceive that, if you can have your brain perceive that differently, if you can have your nervous system perceive that differently. And that will also help you have a better neurotransmitter, better function of your brain. And we know when our brain function well because you're happy, you're quick, you can do things, your life is wonderful. But when you're foggy, when you're exhausted, when you're tired, when you're not motivated, that's your brain not functioning well. So the thing is, we've never told everyone these are the markers. So, how are you today? And why are you like this today? Are you feeling good? What did you do to feel good? Or are you feeling bad? And so what's happening, So it's very those are the different things that you can do for your brain. I mean, there's lots of supplements if that's what you need to help your brain function better. And also looking at your genes. I do a lot of analysis of health genes, and I find, you can look at the receptors for your dopamine, for your serotonin, for your BDNF, all kinds of things that you can realize, okay, if you're not functioning well, this is what's happening to you. One of my patient just the other day was having problems sleeping. She says, I slept great all month. And just yesterday I was having problems sleeping. And I said, well, okay, what time? It was, of course, 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Should be a club at 3 o'clock in the middle of the night, people being awake. Anyhow, I said, well, okay, it's most likely your cortisol. So what happened to you? So now we go back and say, okay, what kind of stress did you have? She said, I didn't have any stress. Okay, what kind of food? What kind of toxicity? All those things are stress, right? Or did you have a virus or bacteria? And we found that it was an encounter a few days ago with one of her siblings, and that caused her a lot of stress and inflammation. And that's what she was working on in the middle of the night, And once she clued into that, then we could decrease the intensity of that aspect on her brain. Her brain wasn't allowing her to sleep well. That's another thing I forgot too. Sleep. Good quality sleep is one of the best thing. If it's not the best thing, well, food is good, but it's one of the best thing you can do for your brain. Good quality sleep. That is so important.
I presume along with food, sleep, stress management, I would think exercise has some component or in this as well.
Exercise definitely. So it's like anything, you can go a little too far on exercise, causing inflammation, and that won't be good for your brain. But exercise, yeah, movement. That's the other thing. I wanted to talk about the movement is very important, right? Because also it cleans the toxicity, right? It makes the toxicity move out of your body. So very, very important for your brain.
So I know that we'll explore this in future videos, but one of the things that I learned uh, was there are significant differences between a man and a woman's brain. And when there are significant differences, then there are obviously things that specifically a woman would need to consider more than a man or differently than a man. So I don't know if you just want to touch on one of those differences, but we'll explore that more, going forward.
Well, some of the differences, one of them is that women have statistically more trauma than men. So therefore, your stress system, your stress hormone will be produced more, and can cause a lot of issues to your brain. And if it's chronic stress, trauma usually causes chronic stress. And if it's chronic stress, you will cause a lot of damage to your brain. And some of the research is just lately that I was starting to research of woman's brain, and the incidence of Alzheimer for women is much, much higher than for men. So again, you have to think is what is that about? And the other thing that is very important that is different for men, I mean, uh, is the change of hormones that we're going through. And I think it's very, very important for a woman to understand from puberty to when she's in menopause, all the different stages that she is going through and what are the hormones doing while she's going through that, and how is that related to brain. And those are topics that we will talk about in the fall, because they're very complex topic. And but I think it's very important to bring them in a way that you can understand them and put the information into your life. What does it mean into your life? But definitely, researchers are seeing differences between men and women. My age 40, for some women, they lose a lot of the mass of their brain. So, and the way that we burn glucose in our brain changes. So those are a big thing that's happening that could cause quite a bit of inflammation. And again, if you have too much inflammation is good, kills things, and sometimes we need that. But if we have too much of chronic inflammation, oh my, that causes damage.
Okay, excellent. So during this March Brain Health Awareness Month, I think again, the focus is always around sleep, good eating habits, exercise, movement, I'll say, uh, stress management, lowering that stress, defining it for whatever, stress obviously is a broad term. So you have to define it for yourself and figure out how to manage it. And then that connection to the microbiome, the gut microbiome, which I know goes back to everything we just said. All of these things that you just talked about are a theme we keep hearing in the overall wellness of our bodies.
That's the thing, you step back and you think, okay, if we talk about the heart, that's what we talk about. If we talk about, autoimmune disease, if you talk about digestive issues, if you talk about all kinds of things, is what we talk about all the time. Because these are good base. It's incredible when you change your lifestyle to a lifestyle that is healthier, that you manage the stress and you eat well. There's lots of vegetables on your plate, and the vegetables have been grown properly, so you can have your microbiota from that. And the movement, and good water. It's incredible how you can turn so many issues around. So those are basic, but they're not basic to do in our society, because we went away from that quite a bit and caused so many addictions that now it's difficult for us to bring it back and on track. Yeah.
Okay, that's a lot of good information. So we will speak again. Thank you very much, Dr. Marcelle.
Thank you, Jen.
Have a good day.
Yeah, you too.